Welcome into Defeating the Curse month. FP here with LP. We have a lot to discuss, a lot to go over. Caps suck. The Phoenix Suns suck. The Commanders might not suck. It's a lot to cover. We got the schedule. We got sort of a late draft recap. We have a lot to go over. LP, how you been, man? It's been a while. I see you cracking open a beer.
I'm in the man cave. I'm alive. I'm good. The last time we recorded was so long ago. I don't even know.
April something. April something. It was
The last
around
time me and you
Easter.
recorded was March.
Wow. Yeah, a lot has changed. I think the last time you and I were on a show, Tom Brady was still retired. I think that's what happened. A lot has changed. But yeah,
Hey,
I
man.
mean,
Drew Brees might unretire. Did you see
Drew
that
Brees,
headline?
he might unretire, but I also think Fox is trying to pair Drew Brees and Sean Payton up to be their A-team analysts. That's what I think happens.
Well, and then Tom Brady gets a massive Fox deal when he retires.
That's true too.
I'd be interested to hear him. Him and Peyton would be nice.
Him and Payton, or actually him and Drew. I mean, I think you would get a lot of good insight. But the problem is, none of those three can do play-by-play, so they have to be separated.
Well, no, there would be three people, and it'd be like Washington football radio where everyone just talks over each other,
Or
or the
trash,
DTC show,
or old trash Monday Night Football.
or old DTC shows.
Yeah, or argue without the mute button. Good times. Good times. I don't know. Where do you want to start, man? There's a lot to cover.
We start where our listeners care the most, which is the Commanders. The Commanders.
Commanders.
I don't think we've talked draft. Let's talk draft.
Yeah, let's go.
What is your overall grade for 2022 draft for the Commanders?
You know, watching it live, I started at like a C. I wasn't super hot on Jahan Dotson. I quickly crashed to an F. By the time you got Sam Howell in the fifth, I think with some reflection, I could give them a low B on the draft. I think they salvaged it by having some really strong later round picks, which has kind of been our bread and butter a couple years past now. But the longer I've had to chew on it and the more YouTube highlight reel videos I've seen and like tweets and comments about Jahan Dotson, I truly think he might be the gem receiver in that first. There's a lot of receivers that went, and he might be that, like that Terry McLaurin level of just solid, good, stud, elite wide receiver, or most likely to be on that path.
Well, they clearly went high floor, low ceiling throughout the draft. I give them C minus because the second round pick, I don't get it, right? I don't care how good this guy is. You had two guys in the building. You let them both walk. You're about to let Deron Payne walk next season, and you just drafted his replacement in the second round. Makes zero sense to me. Jahan Dotson, I give him, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I would rather have the dude from Alabama, but knowing our injury history and our trainers, like the guy's not going to get healthy with us. So I'm okay with letting him pass. I'm good with Kyle Hamilton going away from us because I absolutely did not want him.
No, I
But
would have
second
loved
round,
Kyle
I didn't
Hamilton.
like. I think the tight end has got some game to him. He's a
Turner, round 5.
Cole Turner, pass catching tight end. Like he's a former basketball player. He's what you look for in a tight end.
Him
Him
with
in the fifth is pretty good.
Him with Logan Thomas would be a kind of a nice dual tight end setup.
Yeah, but I don't think Logan Thomas is going to be ready until week 6, 7, 8, 9.
I mean, if he's ready by week 1, he'll be out 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean, you're not coming back from an ACL under a year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
unless you're going to go the Robert Griffin route and completely detriment,
the thing is, like,
ruin your career.
Everyone has Adrian Peterson in their mind with that injury, and unless you're just a natural athletic freak that trains and rehabs like crazy, it's not going to happen.
I mean,
But
I think Robert trained and did athletic freak stuff
no, he
and was
didn't. All he
crazy and
did
all
was
that.
make YouTube videos about more pressure, more diamonds.
No, but
He
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 trained.
wasn't
I mean, he's
doing
still in
anything.
good shape. He's still running like,
He's
you know,
fast.
sub
That's
4.3
never
speed.
been
Like,
his issue. Speed
but
is
it's
not
also
an
his,
issue when you have
it's
that internal.
body, right? It's your body composition. It's your genetics. Those things like you cannot control, no matter how good you rehab. So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
good with the
whatever.
Dotson
It'll be
pick.
good.
I'm okay with that.
I'm excited
Again,
about
Fedarian Mathis, I, another Alabama D line, fine, but why in the second round?
it.
The guy didn't have a second round grade, and there was all that bullshit about, oh well, the agents, wanted to set expectations so that if he got drafted it earlier, that he'd be happy. Okay, maybe, but
I'll
other
put it
GMs are like, no, we didn't have that guy in the second round.
I'll I'll put it this way. Do I think Fedarian Mathis will be a good defensive lineman? Yes. Will he be better than Matt Ioannidis or Tim Settle? Probably not.
We barely
And
even gave Tim
Ioannidis,
Settle a chance.
right?
Like
So Ioannidis,
we
like I
drafted
love
him, he
him.
barely played.
Yeah, and he got taken and he's going to be a starter and he'll probably be. I'm not going to say he's going to be like Jonathan Allen level, but I mean he's going to be a serviceable starter, and he was still on a cheap rookie contract. It doesn't make sense that you waste a draft pick on positions that we had still on rookie contracts, right? Like that makes no sense. Or we didn't pick up a fifth year option or something. To me, that makes no sense unless it's just. I mean, I honestly can't figure it out. I have no that for being a second round pick when you have so many more needs, that makes no sense to me. I will say going Brian Robinson in the third with a running back also doesn't really make sense. But when you have Antonio Gibson who fumbles a lot, you bring back J.D. McKissick he's not a 3 down back, and then you have Patterson who's a scrub essentially. It makes sense to get a running back, right? Like it makes sense, but not in the third, right? Like you probably could have gotten him in the fourth or gotten him in the fifth.
He's a good running back. Like he's a
Yeah,
bruiser. I was
it
more
was
so
definitely a
okay with
position
that
of need.
because I'm all about getting offensive weapons. It's an
Correct.
offensive league.
Yes.
Don't give me defense. Don't give me defense. Don't give me defense. Like it's an offensive league, and we struggled on third and short. So it's a
Yeah.
gap
No,
that
it
an
was a
immediate gap
position
that
of
we had.
need, but was it a third round position of need? I mean, if he turns out to be a stud, right, and Antonio Gibson kind of goes into some kind of hybrid role, receiving back or something, or has more juice in later in the game and he can kind of take over. Great move. I love it. But it's questionable now. What's
I think
not
it's more of an
questionable,
indication as to where the coaching staff thinks Antonio Gibson really is as a running
correct.
back.
And I think a lot of it was his fumbling problems. I think they love him as a running back. They're just I think they're done with the
I'm not
fumbling
sure they're
issues.
in love with him as a running back. If you look at his numbers, it tells you one thing, right? But if you look at him as, the eye test, when has he looked very impressive?
It's
Sure, he
true.
had 1,000 yards,
It's true.
but not once last year we're like, wow, this guy's gonna break one, or this guy's, making guys miss, or this guy's carrying three
I
guys on his
mean,
back.
the truth is he was never a true running back. He was quote unquote converted wide receiver. So you had converted wide receiver, J.D. McKissick, undrafted Patterson as your running back room. You needed a true to heart running back. It was needed. So okay, let's call that a good draft pick. Sam Howell in the fifth, steal of the draft, 100%. Steal of the draft. This dude was supposed to be first overall last year or something, coming into this year or whatever.
He's still a
I
UNC quarterback though.
huh?
He's still a UNC quarterback, right?
I
The last
mean,
UNC quarterback didn't fill out very well.
we'll see. But I mean, it it was a steal at 5. It was a steal,
So
100%.
here's why I'm gonna give you a C minus. At the beginning of the offseason, what did we say our biggest position of need was?
Inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker / receiver. We addressed receiver. Thank you. We still have not addressed inside linebacker. Now you can give me all this bullshit about we're going to be playing nickel and it's a passing league and no one plays 3 linebackers. We got crushed in the middle last season
We
in the
did.
middle of the defense. We did nothing to address it.
I think it's
Cornerback.
the loyalty of Ron and him thinking Jamin Davis will have a big rebound year is kind of what prevented that.
Yeah,
And
but
he's for whatever
they
reason he's in
already
love with
given up
Cole
on
Holcomb.
Jamin as the Mike, right? He's going to
Yeah,
be outside linebacker.
which is his natural position.
So Cole's going to be Mike,
Yeah,
which he's not a good Mike.
he's not a terrible Mike. He just needs very good supporting cast around him. But then you have Percy Butler, the safety from Louisiana. We took him in the 4th. He's essentially going to be your Landon Collins, your Buffalo nickel hybrid
But he's not a big guy.
position. He's not a big, but does he have to be a big guy? You don't have to
I mean,
be.
generally the Buffalo is a chunkier dude who can get the running back down, who's going to blow up offensive linemen when they're running downfield. That's not really him. I think they're trying to fit a square peg round hole kind of thing with him. But I don't think they're done yet. Landon Collins is still out there as a free agent. There was talks about him, possibly coming back. And if that's the the end plan is Landon comes back, I thought he played fantastic in a Buffalo nickel
Yeah, I
last
mean,
year. Right?
if it's
It
bring
was
him back for cheap and you just play a word shell game so that he doesn't think he's playing linebacker. You just can't call him a linebacker and then he's happy.
well, I think he also has to have a reality check now, right?
right.
It's May 16th and he's not signed, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, especially because like when he got released, like Honey Badger got released and all these other people moved. Nobody's gonna take Landon Collins over Honey Badger, right? Like it's not gonna happen.
Honey Badger went to the Saints?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Um,
Yeah, I think mini camps are around the corner or whatever OTAs are around the corner.
Rookie minicamp finished. We signed a couple scrubs from there. One of some random linebacker, a cornerback, some other scrub. That's all depth moves.
I think the Commanders still have cap space and they still could make it happen at a linebacker position, but they may be playing the waiting game, seeing who gets released later on. Post June 1 designation is coming up, 14 days or so. So, maybe they do something there, but
well, this time
overall,
last
I
year
just
we
think
signed
that
Bobby
there's still a
McCain.
gap.
So yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of moves you can still make.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that our fantasy football commissioner started the league up today.
Did he really?
Yeah, reinstated the league. I'm like, we're 4 months away there, buddy.
Hey man, it's fun times. Fun times.
It is.
All right. So where do we go from the draft? Do we want to talk more Commanders? Do we want to talk the schedule?
Yeah, we can let's touch on the schedule.
All right.
I think the schedule release is so annoying. I really give zero
very
shits
stupid.
about
Yeah, very
the schedule
stupid
release.
for the NFL to think
we knew which teams they're playing, when they're actually playing them. Who cares, right? The one thing I did like about the schedule release is to see what primetime games we have, and it's like what 2 or 3 games.
I think we have 8:15 game against the Bears. I want to say that's a Monday night game, maybe a Sunday night game.
Maybe I think Thursday.
And then you go, and then from there you have a 4:25 game against the Colts. That's not really prime time. Prime time is against the Eagles. I think that's a Monday night game on the 14th. And then possibly your Cowboys season ender could be flexed, and your Giants early December pre-Christmas game could be flexed, depending on the East probably. I could see Cowboys Commanders at the end getting flexed to primetime. That's a big ticket game.
Or it could be a Saturday game.
Could be a Saturday game too. One of the 3. The schedule starts favorable, right? Like you start against the Jaguars, the Lions. So it could be the first time we go 2-0 in like 11 years. It could also be very possible that we go 0-2 because the Jaguars could be a completely different team. And I think that Lions team is scarier than a lot of people want to give them credit for. Plus, Ron's teams typically start
Tend to
slow.
start out slow.
Yeah. So you could realistically, let's say you split Jaguars Lions, right? 1-1,
Which would be a fail.
which would be a
Right,
fail.
those are 2 must wins.
And then you go Eagles,
Eagles,
Cowboys,
Cowboys,
Titans.
Titans. Yeah.
That's probably 3
2 out of 3
losses.
losses.
Maybe you take the Eagles. So then you're looking at what? 2-4?
Yep.
Not a
Then
good start.
Chicago.
Then Chicago, that's a toss up. Who knows how they'll play? And then Green Bay Colts, loss.
Yep.
Simple.
Vikings, potential loss. Eagles again. Then you got the Texans, the Falcons, the Giants.
Texans and Falcons could be a switch, a toss up. Giants. The crazy thing is you have Giants. You have Giants bye week Giants.
Nothing is given with this team. There are no wins that you can just say, yep, that's a win. There are no games that you can say that's a win.
It goes this way, right? So the Commanders are playing 7 games against the bottom 10 teams. So homers like us, we go, that's 7 wins, right? But then all 7 of those teams are looking at the Commanders and they're circling us as a win. So you really can't say it'll go one way or the other.
Yeah,
the concerning part is the schedule makers screwed over the Commanders again with like your net rest and kind of the teams that you play in the back end of the season. So week 10, 13 bye week, 16 and 18. Those 4 games, like they have 10 days rest to get ready for the Commanders. And they have a 3-day rest edge over us. So the Eagles, the second Giants game, the Niners, and the Cowboys
they all have
10
days rest.
10 days rest, and it's a 3-day bump over how much rest we get.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of BS, especially with a late bye, right? A week 14 bye. And I mean, it's Washington football. You're injured at the end of the year. I've yet to see it where we're not injured at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, looking at the schedule, what do you think? What are you realistically predicting your wins loss based off just schedule, not play, just schedule. It's also strength of schedule. We have the easiest one in the league, but so do the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants. 1 through 4.
The Cowboys are taking a step back, right? Like Amari Cooper not being there.
Cowboys also have, I think, the best net rest, or one of the best net rest schedules in the league. Like they got hooked up.
This 100%, like none of this matters. What matters is Carson Wentz's play.
Yeah, 100%.
If he can throw the ball downfield to Terry McLaurin, to Dotson, and Curtis Samuel is healthy, and J.D. McKissick is healthy throughout the year, this is a 10-win team, at least, in my opinion, 10 wins. If Carson is mediocre up and down, kind of like where he was last year, this is, again, a 7-win team.
I don't think he was mediocre up down last year.
He was down at the end of the year for this last 2 games.
I mean, that was COVID, right? But you also, like, the truth is we have a better pass protecting line. We've shorted up, right? We lost Sheriff. We lost Flowers. We shorted up. We got some good guys in there. We shored up the line.
Our line was top 5 last year, so was never an issue.
Exactly. But I'm saying we lost a couple key pieces. We replaced a couple key pieces. So I think our line is
equal or better talent. Yeah.
Yes. I think our line is better than what the Colts had. And then the weapons. I mean, if Jahan Dotson can be, I don't know who you can relate him to. They say like Deshaun Jackson size, not necessarily speed, but like maybe like shore-handedness. Like he could be our Pierre Garçon that we had, where he's getting all the junk balls coming his way. If he could be that guy, and then you truly do have a healthy Curtis and Terry, that's a scary wide receiver room. That's a fast wide
Yeah.
receiver room. That's
And we're
all
also
sub 4
not
4
even
or
mentioning
something.
De'Ami Brown, right? Third round pick from
Exactly.
last year.
Hmm.
He was
Or Cam
supposed to be
Sims.
good. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call Cam Sims anything, right? Other than
Yeah, but
depth.
Cam
But
Sims for your fifth receiver is very good. Like
yeah.
that's a great fifth receiver.
Yeah. If De'Ami can take a step up, I mean, he's a deep threat.
Yeah.
He's,
And I
yeah,
mean,
he's got the
Wentz,
speed.
if you get 2017 Wentz, MVP Wentz, where he'll be elusive behind the line and be able to air it downfield, you have Terry. Terry, I think, can win 50-50 balls. I think Jahan has shown in Penn State he can win 50-50 balls. You don't even need Wentz to be pinpoint accurate. You just need him to be, and this is a Scott Turner offense thing, you just need him to be relatively in the place of that receiver.
Yeah.
It's not really timing routes, it's more zone timing routes that Scott Turner does.
Yeah. I mean, and Wentz has got a deep ball, right? Which is what Scott Turner wants to do since he got here. We have the receivers to run the deep routes. Things may be clicking. This may be a pretty, semi-explosive offense, right?
Did you
J.D.
see
McKissick
RG3
is.
say that we're a sleeper Super Bowl pick?
He did.
He said if all the ifs that we literally just discussed click, right? Carson Wentz, 2017 form, your receivers become elite or show to be elite as a group, and then your defensive line doesn't suck the way they did last year. You could essentially put it together and be a sleeper Super Bowl pick because it's a stacked roster. Of course, he said it's the most stacked roster they've had in 10 years, aka since RG3
Since he
played.
was there. Yeah, of
But
course.
I
What a
mean,
tool.
it's not. This is the Homer segment of the show. It's not insane to see a first place schedule last year with Heineke, where you upset the Bucks and you got decimated by COVID and injury, and you still got, what did we get? 7 wins.
Yeah.
It's not insane to say we have addressed 85% of the needs that we had. Quarterback being maybe a
Number
significant
one.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe. You can
No, it
easily
should be.
see
It should be. There should be
it
no
should,
reason why he's not better than Heineke.
but you like your kicking thing is good. You're not gonna have Heineke making kind of like rookie mistakes, like not diving headfirst in the end zone or whatever happened against the Green Bay game. A lot of those giveaways that we had in some of those close games, you would, if you assume they fall in our favor, you can go from 7 wins to adding another 5 and having an 11-win team. An 11-win team in the East, that's winning the division. That's hosting a playoff game.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. How many games do you think Heineke's going to play?
4-6.
I mean, if that guy's proven anything, he's proven that he's a serviceable quarterback. He can come in and win a game. He can win 2. He can win more. I mean,
I would say that you have maybe one of the best backup QBs in the league. Right?
he's borderline starter caliber.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have somebody that you know can at least squeak out 7 wins if he has to.
Yeah. But Carson hasn't been injured the past, 2-3 seasons? Since the Super Bowl, really. He hasn't been injured.
Serious injuries, no. I
Well,
mean,
he hasn't had to miss time.
yeah, I mean, he had like the double sprained ankle at the start of last year on
Yeah.
the Colts, but I mean, I think this can be an offense where you see very close to MVP wins.
I think at a very minimum, this is finally a year where there are no excuses, right?
Yes.
Ron has no excuses as to
Yes.
why he shouldn't win and win now. So it'll be fun to watch. It's going to creep around here soon, right? Camp's going to be back. Um, you know, all those things. So it'll be fun time of year. Let's pivot to the Caps.
Oh,
First round
Still
upset,
hurts.
or
Still
you know,
hurts.
as a DC fan, right? It's an upset. Don't care if they're an 8 versus a 1. We
It's
had it.
not an. It's upsetting. It was not an upset.
Yes, we had it.
Yeah.
Mojo gets that damn goal, open net goal. Game. What was it?
You go
5.
up 3-1. You go up three
Game
one.
4.
Game
Go up
4.
3-1. Series over.
Yep.
Missed it.
Missed it. And then you have the
And
lead
what we know
in
about
5, and you
hockey,
have
it's
the
all
lead
about
in 6.
momentum. We lost some momentum.
I don't think
Got it
we
back in
lost
spurts.
the momentum.
I think we lost. So that was game 4. Game 5, you had a lead and you dropped it. Game 6, you had a 3-goal lead. Dropped it.
Dropping the leads hurts. A lot of that can literally be pinned on Carlson. Carlson probably was a liability on defense. If you change that piece out and you add in a better goalkeeper, and then you add just a little bit more speed, this team still, with a great core, with elite talent, can still go far.
So we were having a spirited debate earlier today. You have faith in the GM, Brian McClellan.
Yes.
I am starting to lose faith in Brian McClellan
GMBM. You
because
can't lose faith in GMBM.
I felt like at the deadline last year, we needed to make a move at goalkeeper. And we didn't. You then corrected me and said, well, we went after Marc-Andre Fleury, but
At
he
the
didn't want to
trade
come here
deadline.
because of what? Him and Ovi
Rivalry.
have beef?
No, he was a Penguin for so long, and he's
So
like
what?
it would have been weird. I agree. So what? But that's what he said.
It's a sport.
That's the Commanders saying like, hey Zeke, we want you, and Zeke's like, no, I'm a Cowboys. I'm a Cowboy.
Put your big pants on. You get paid to play the sport.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, that's not on Brian McClellan. It's
Where did
not.
Marc-Andre Fleury end up?
The Minnesota Wild, I want to say, or
Did
the
he
Dallas Stars, one of those two. I think the Wild.
did he play?
He did play. He was okay. He wasn't Venza winner 2017 Vegas Marc-Andre Fleury, but he was still good. Not
Yeah,
2017, 2020, last year.
2 years ago. Yeah, either way, I just felt like they needed to make a move and they didn't.
My point is
We were
GMBM is
a
a
Stanley
good
Cup
GM.
champion, what, 3 years ago? Was it 3 or
It's
4 years
not
ago now?
easy. It's not like the NFL where
But you
it's
haven't
easy to
gotten out of
repeat.
the first round since then.
Neither has the Penguins.
The Penguins haven't won as recent as we have.
They won the cup in 2017.
Okay, so a year before us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's the same exact thing with them that it is with us. It's a talented core that's going up in age. It's hard to keep them together, right? But what's happening is GMBM is keeping our core together. There's no risk that you lose Ovi, Kuzi, Oshie, Wilson, Backstrom. Backstrom might be injured. He might retire. That might be something that comes down the pipe. But for the most part, your core is there, and your young rookie core is also there, right? We had 10 to 12 rookies score
That's a
points
good
at the
mix.
start of the season,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Snively, Sherry, Connor McMichael. You have a lot of young guys that are real ice time ready to come in. So we're 2 or 3 small tweaks away, right? Shore up the defense, get a veteran goalie in. You can easily be. I'm not going to say we'll be President Cup winners next year. I'm not going to say we're going to be the best team in the league, but you should be able to easily win the Metro. You should be able to easily get to the playoffs and be competitive moving forward. I mean, no
I mean, we
team.
were competitive in the playoffs this year.
We were against a significantly better team, the best team in the league, the President Cup trophy winners.
Yeah, but how many times do we see the President Cup trophy winners lose in the first round? How many times? Especially the Panthers, right? They haven't won a series since,
Right. But I
like,
mean,
what, ever?
2016, 2017. Guess who the President Cup winners were?
The Caps.
Caps. They lost to the Penguins. Happens.
Well, didn't happen this year.
The point is, playoff hockey compared to any other playoff sport factors in luck more than anything else. Right?
That's true.
Like you look at Dallas and Phoenix. You look at Dallas and Phoenix Game 7. That wasn't luck that made Dallas curb stomp the Stuns. That was Luka being like, "F you, Booker. I'm gonna take over and dominate." It was a one-man show essentially, and somehow Dinwiddie decided to drop 30. I don't understand that either.
Dinwiddie's a good player, and
yeah, he's a good player when you have a Luka next to you. Yeah, but that's the same thing with the Caps.
He had a Beal next to him here.
But the thing with the Caps, all our guys are good when you have Ovi on the ice, when you have Kuzi on the ice, when you have Wilson on the ice. We did amazing for a team that was a second wild card against a first place team without Wilson, with an injured Backy. Ovi
was injured right before the start of the playoffs.
Ovi was injured right before.
You don't know if he was 100%.
Exactly. I think the fan base can't look at this and be like, "Oh my God, we haven't gotten out of the first in 4 years." You can't look at it that way. It's not. It's the equivalent of looking at Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and be like, they can't get to the Super Bowl anymore. Would you complain if your team was the Packers and they were just getting win after win after win and always in the playoffs? You wouldn't complain.
Yeah, you're walking me off the ledge, but I'm still 72 hours removed from. Oh crap! We have zero DC sports teams.
That's
competing for anything right now.
That's what hurts. Isn't that the Caps are struggled? The painful part was crap. Now I have nothing until September.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Like I have DC United on right now, like an old, I guess earlier today DC United game. Me, FP has DC United on TV right now. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, today is a perfect day to podcast because there's zero sports on, and MLB is not a sport; it's an activity.
Exactly right. We're playing a team wearing pink. Are we the ones wearing pink? I don't know what's happening.
It's the Cherry Blossoms DC United version.
And then then there's the Nationals. So there is DC sports happening. The Nationals
are not
count.
playing a sport. They are showing up and getting punched in the mouth every time.
Yeah. It's literally a bunch of guys plus Juan Soto.
8-1 or something when I last looked today. They lost, right? Sure.
I'm almost positive they did. I don't even have to check. Do they have 10 wins on the season?
I think 11. Yeah, they lost 2-8.
Nice.
12 wins. 12-25. Yeah, that's another team where, as a fan, management change is okay with me because they were in the World Series a few years ago. They let Harper walk. They let Rendon walk.
But if I'm not mistaken, this is an on-purpose rebuild that we're doing. This was we won it in 2019.
But
we're not going to be able to afford.
Where there's no salary cap. DC, come on.
Yeah, but from everything
you can say COVID screwed the Nationals over. Blah blah blah.
From everything I pretended to listen to Joe and Steve talk about back in the day, this is an on-purpose rebuild, struggle bus rebuild, right? This isn't
a 3-year rebuild,
right?
But what fan wants to wait 3 years until their team's competitive again?
If you got your way and we got rid of Brian McClellan for the Caps, guess what would happen? You'd have a 3-year rebuild. You would ruin Ovi's chance to steal the all-time goal scorer. You'd break up the core, and we'd be a 3-year rebuild, if that, maybe even more.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I'm just impatient.
Me too. And that's where you look at the Wizards, right? And they're what draft pick did they end up with?
The draft lottery is tomorrow. I think they've got a 14% chance of landing a top 4 pick. This is not bad, but
it's bad when we're going to use it on a white Eastern European guy.
That's exactly what's going to happen. And it's not going to be Luka Doncic part 2.
No, yeah, it's gonna be, and it doesn't matter what pick it is, 1 through 4. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It'll be number 1 pick, and we'll still get an Eastern European. Tommy Shepard, I don't understand why people give him any credit. The guy is Ernie Grunfeld 2.0. At the beginning of the season, I gave him a little bit of credit when we were like 10-2 and everything was working well, and Wes Unseld was coaching the team and everyone was happy. That fell apart so fast. And
Are
you see
you
Spencer
are you
Dinwiddie.
on board with West still? Do you give him 1 more year?
Yeah, of course, because it's his first year. He's a rookie, first time coach. You got to give him some time.
Suns first time coach last year went pretty far.
Yeah, I mean,
granted, we don't have a CP3 or a Booker, but
CP3 is 37 or 38 years old.
And they're gonna run it back. The Suns are gonna run it back. They're gonna do it all over again.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, either way, this has been one of the best NBA postseasons in forever because
I
there's
100%
finally some damn parity in the league.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
LeBron is old.
Yes.
Because KD is not the same KD. And
Still
because
a bitch.
James Harden is plus 50 pounds.
Yes. I would love to see a Dallas Miami finals.
I don't think Dallas is going to beat Golden State.
Me
Steph
either.
is too good. Clay is too good. Draymond is still good. I think they're a better team. And I think Luka's going to run out of gas. He's literally a one-star team. Spencer Dinwiddie, as good as he played Game 7, you can't expect that from him for a full series.
Luka versus Jimmy Butler would be fun. It would be fun. Also, props to Luka. I think he had an off season of drinking hookah and like beaches.
He gives every man in the world hope. He really does.
100%.
Yeah.
If Luka can do it, I could turn around and run a marathon in a couple months.
Yeah, he's incredible. To me, he's top 3 NBA players today.
Wow. Top 3?
Top 3? I don't know who to put in front of him.
Giannis?
Steph. Okay, Giannis, Steph.
KD still?
No.
No? Embiid?
No.
Jimmy Butler?
No. I'd go Luka over all of them. Today, yeah.
Ja Morant?
He's good, but I mean, his team is also 20-6 without him, which is insane to think your best player.
There's some young guns out there.
I mean, that was kind of the same narrative with John Wall a little bit, right? When he went out, we went on a run, and everyone's like, "Oh, maybe we're better without John Wall." I feel bad for Ja because he's a baller, but for whatever reason, the team is just better without him.
John Wall just revealed that he had the Wizards tattoo added to his sleeve, the Wizards jersey.
He did that recently, or he did that while he was a Wizard?
I think he did that recently.
I'd love to see him back.
I would love for John Wall to come back, and Bradley Beal to be gone.
Yeah, I'm done with Beal.
I'm done with him. And it has nothing to do with Beal.
It
has nothing to do with Beal the player. It has a lot to do with Beal the leader.
He's not gonna. We've tried it with Beal. We've tried it as him being the number 1 guy, and it hasn't worked out.
He's not a number 1 guy.
But you can let him walk. But then what? Then what do you do? Who are you gonna get? Right? No one wants to come to DC. You think one, the city sucks, even though we've lived here our whole entire lives. You still think the city's not that great, right? As a sports town, like everyone is just complains, right? Everyone bitches because you're not good enough. No one shows up to games on time. Traffic sucks. There's a lot of things that just don't make it appealing. Like we should be a top market team, but we're not.
The crazy thing is, if the Commanders turn it around, let's say, hypothetical world, the Commanders dominate this coming season, undefeated, take it from the Dolphins, the 72 Dolphins, win the Super Bowl, it would then start like a domino effect with all the other sports. 100%. If the Commanders dominate, you see every single fan that much more interested in the Caps, that much more interested in the Nationals, in the Wizards. It's a domino effect. Just like when the Caps won, right? And then the Nats won. I mean, it got decimated by COVID, but that from Caps to Nats, the city was electric.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yep. And then
And
COVID and
you
politics
had the
crushed it.
Bruce Allen removal at that same time. Like all three highs that
We were
had
all on
as a
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you could say the same about. I mean, originally this was a basketball town, right? Like Washington D.C. is a basketball place. A lot of like AAU
If you're saying
ball.
originally like this, like the 70s,
No, I'm just saying like at its core, right? Like
at its
even
core,
like
it's a
our
football town.
no, but if you look at like AAU basketball, right? We produce a lot of NBA talent
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
area.
You mean the citizens of this area? We are a top tier basketball producing town.
Yes,
Like the
the
South,
region.
like Alabama and Florida produce football players. We produce basketball players.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, right? Like if the Wizards had like a Golden State run, or like all of a sudden just became a top team,
Yeah.
I think
Then
people would
all
get
your
behind it.
Georgetown
But
studs and everybody start farming into the Wizards.
yeah, but it wouldn't have the same domino effect like the Commanders winning.
No, no, nothing would.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, real estate prices would go up if the Commanders win. Like they would completely turn the region around.
Yeah. What about Landover? With
I,
the exception of Landover, Maryland.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. This is all hypothetical because in reality,
7 wins.
we're 15, 20 years away from getting another championship
7 wins. 7 wins for the Commanders.
across all four sports, major sports. Even take minor sports, like DC United sucks.
Right, and they used to be dominant, right?
When the league was like 6 teams. Yeah. I mean,
I'll put it this
Washington
way.
Spirit, maybe.
I don't think the Capitals are ever not in contention to win the cup. The Capitals,
if you mean they're in the playoffs every year, sure.
no, they would be. What's an NFL team that's always in the playoffs? Steelers, maybe. The Bills.
Sure, the Steelers would be a good example.
Yeah.
A team that always makes the playoffs and is always eliminated in the first or second round.
But always have that potential to surprise you, to go further.
I mean, did anyone think that the Steelers this year had potential?
No. Did anyone think the Caps this year had potential? No.
No. So exactly.
But you take that same Steelers team without Big Ben and you give them anybody else, possible, very possible, because it's a solid foundation, well coached, good ownership, good fan base. Small
we'll see this year,
can
right?
Change it. Yeah, small
they got
tweaks
Mr.
can change it.
Brisky and the rookie Pickett, right?
Pickett. Small tweaks can change a lot when you have a solid foundation.
Yeah, but nothing jazzes up a fan base like a big tweak. Like a firing of a GM.
A fan base that's desperate for wins. Capitals aren't desperate for wins. You might be desperate for wins.
I'm desperate for deep playoff runs.
You're desperate to just have more reason to sit in the man cave, drink, and watch sports until 12:30.
I'm desperate for a team that's playing late May, June, a summer that is exciting because your football team's great.
I think baseball games are the most boring thing in the world. Longest crap on TV. When the Nationals were deep in the playoffs, I couldn't get enough of those games. I wanted it to last 6 hours.
Yeah. Heart palpitations and all.
Yeah, two bowls, 12 beers, whatever. Hookah bowl.
Well, isn't that a normal Friday night?
Yeah. I went through 3 bowls during the Caps game on Friday.
One per period.
One per period. I was smoking like my life depended on it.
So who do you got winning the cup this year?
Abs, 100%. Colorado. They swept the Preds. They'll dominate anybody that comes out of the East.
Who do you got in the East?
Unfortunately, it might be Tampa.
I'm thinking Tampa.
I don't think Florida gets past the second round.
They've got the firepower.
They do. But again, this Caps team gave them a run for their money, and we had no business doing that. There's a lot better teams.
Yeah, but we
that
had
they're about
playoff
to face.
experience, right?
True.
Veterans, the best player in hockey. There's a lot of things that were going the Caps' way.
Yeah.
They still had no business winning the series.
No business making it as close as it was.
Who do you got in the NBA?
I mean, like I said, I want Dallas, Miami. It's probably Golden State, Miami. I don't know. Boston might upset Miami.
I think it's Boston, Golden State.
I'm not mad at that. That's a pretty solid matchup.
I don't want Boston to win any more championships.
Agreed.
No.
I don't want Golden State to win anymore though.
And I don't like Tatum either. He's a good basketball player. I don't like him. I don't know.
You know
why.
what? Actually, I retract that. I wouldn't mind seeing Steph get another championship without KD, overcoming all the injuries that him and Clay and everybody had. I'd be okay seeing Golden State get another ring.
I like the way that Golden State was built originally, and then KD messed it up. But I like how they kept it together after KD left.
Yeah, like it was like a KD experiment. It went away, but now it's like the classic
back
Golden
to
State.
what it was right before KD. Yeah,
I'm
I like
good
Golden
with that.
State. But I would like to see Luka win.
Yeah, I mean, what I really
I just don't think they have enough firepower there.
What I really want is 2 Game 7 conference finals. That's what I want.
When do the conference finals start? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Boston, Miami, I believe. And then the next
they're
day,
alternating days, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And when do the NHL playoffs round 2 start?
Also tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, it's also a good time of year just because, once you get over Washington being out, you can kind of watch and just be free.
So tomorrow is
Watch
Lightning, Panthers, Blues, Avalanche. Those are 2 really good games. I think the Lightning crush the Panthers tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun to watch.
Sorry, I was getting a smoke in. Yeah, I think that's it for the show, right? There's not much more to cover. We might do some kind of training camp podcast. See you in a month and a half, something like that. 4th of July show.
I don't know about you, but I keep thinking every time I think Commanders, I keep just thinking Commanders, and I think that name's just gonna stick with them.
Everyone on Twitter is starting to call them the Durs.
The Durs.
The Durs.
Lurch calls them the Manders. No, the Manders.
The Manders. Better than Durs.
Yeah, I don't know. Commanders just sticking to me. James Bradbury's coming here.
I think we're gonna have a pig mascot. A hog mascot. Some military dressed hog looking riding a tank idiot is gonna be our mascot.
Someone will get offended at that.
Cops, fat people.
I don't know.
Military personnel.
And 95% of the DMV.
I'm sick of the take command hashtag. I'm sick of
sick
of Washington
it's
football
HTCC
tonight.
Now.
I'm sick of Washington football tonight being called Command Center. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy.
It's
Command the draft.
Washington football.
Was it?
Washington football team. Yeah.
Was it?
I think so.
I will
And
rock.
I still like the uniforms.
I'll rock my Washington football team hoodie. To me, it's ageless.
I got some Commanders gear.
The
And
W's growing on me. I know.
I like it.
I need. You know what's weird? This is a small tangent. Nobody listens to the show, anyways. You can't get the white or black jerseys yet. It's not available on Nike or the NFL site or Fanatics.
You can only get the burgundies.
You can't see them, order them, pre-buy them, nothing. Is it like, are we waiting for Tanya Snyder to sew them all? I don't. What's?
Waiting for China to manufacture them.
I don't understand it. Like I want to see the black jersey in person. I want to see the white jersey.
But where would you see them in person, anyways?
I mean, you'll probably buy the white jersey the second it's available.
Where would you see them in person, anyways?
When somebody buys them.
Oh, like see them on the street.
Yeah, or like go to the store.
I can't fathom going to the, what is it called now?
The command center
store?
I don't know. The Pentagon? I don't know. Like, what do you call it?
Is there a store still at like Fair Oaks Mall?
I mean, I haven't been to a mall since I was like 14.
Exactly.
Outside of going for like a restaurant.
I used to only go to the Redskins store.
Yeah. And then you get an Auntie Anne's pretzel because it's right next door.
Yep. Except the store kept moving, which was annoying. They'd move it from one side of the mall to the other.
It's true.
Good times, good times. Let's put a bow on the show. Any final thoughts?
I lost a lot of money over the weekend, and I need to recoup all of it during this coming week.
You lost a lot of money doing what?
Bets. My bets did not hit.
It's about time, because every time you send me a screenshot, it's like, oh, I just won $200.
My bets.
I'm like, yeah, I won $6.
Hit. I wanted to take the upset of Dallas over the Suns, and everybody told me I was stupid.
So you didn't take it, or you took it on a parlay?
I did not take it. I took it on a parlay, but it was with the Bucks over Boston.
I took it on a parlay with the Bucks as well. That would have been a nice one.
It would have been. All right.
If it
Good
makes you feel
show.
any better, I never win, so.
Tune in to Defeating the Curse on all podcast platforms that you use. Nobody listens. Just Google it. You'll find it. We
still have a website, defeatthecurse.com.
Is that still our website? Did we pay for the domain?
It's auto registered on my card, and when my card expires in 2025, that's when we'll lose the site. So.
All right. Well, Defeating the Curse. We're still cursed. Caps suck, but they're better than all the other DC teams. We are out.